Okay.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
On the air? All right, looking good. I call to order the Borough of Oradell Zoning Board of Adjustment regular meeting for July 21st. Notice of this meeting was published in the official newspaper, prominently posted in Borough Hall, and filed with the clerk's office in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act. This meeting is a quasi-judicial proceeding. Decorum appropriate to a judicial hearing must always be maintained. Any questions and comments must be limited to issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision. Let's pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. Roll call. Steve is not here, so I'll do it. Mr. Bartlett?
Here.
Mr. Devine?
Here.
Ms. Odinsky?
Here.
Mr. Camporiel?
Here.
Ms. Day?
Here.
And Santaniello is here, and absent is Barrows, Vincent Lau, and we don't have a second alternate. Okay, thank you. Approval of zoning board meeting minutes. We received those in email. Any comments or thoughts on those? Do we have a motion to approve? Sorry, the meeting minutes from June 16th.
I move to approve the minutes from the meeting of June 16th.
All right. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Passed. Excellent. Okay. Correspondence. All correspondence to the zoning board is available and on file in the construction official's office for your perusal. Zoning board procedures. Lots of veterans, but I'll go through it quickly because I found my sheet. The zoning board is a forum for property owners to apply to exceptions to local zoning ordinances. If what somebody would like to do with their property isn't something the building department can approve, they can seek a variance via this process. The way we conduct these meetings follows the procedures laid out by the New Jersey Municipal Land Use Law, and that's what determines what can be said and when it can be said. Thanks in advance, everyone, for your understanding and cooperation. Okay, swearing in of officials. So Steve Depkin, our construction official, is on vacation this week, so we have Dave, Caroline. If you would swear in.
If you could both raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
Thanks.
Okay, no new cases will be started after 10:30 p.m. So we discussed this a little bit before when we were just getting started. So we have 3 cases tonight to hear. One was withdrawn, so that's why we're down to 3 instead of 4. Mr. Traphagen has been delayed over and over and over again for various reasons, so we're going to let him go first. He thinks he has a relatively compact set of testimony. He's going to cut off at 9:30 so we can hear the other 2 cases. We'll then go to 505 Kinderkamak, which I believe you said you had just 5 minutes of testimony, should be quick, and then the residential. Fair enough? And that should get us all done by 10:30, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Before we do that, from the last meeting, we had a calendar 889-25 for Vigna at 256 Beechwood. We have the resolution ready. Again, this was made available by email to the board members. Any changes or comments? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the, what's the
Sorry, 889-25.
88925 as distributed during the week.
Okay. We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. We'll do roll call in a second. Okay. Roll call. Mr. Bartlett?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Camporiel?
Yes.
Ms. Day?
I need to abstain. I wasn't here.
Okay. Mr. Devine?
Yes.
Where's your name? There it is. Ms. Odinsky?
Yes.
Me? Okay, yes. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Lovejoy.
And Mr. Lau joined. Okay. You probably didn't hear what we were voting about. That's all right. We have enough. We will get you caught up later. Thank you for that. Let me sign this. I'll give it to Jeanette. If you would be so kind. Excellent. Thank you. All right, I'll leave that for Steve. I'm going to put it there just so I don't forget to. Okay. Moving right along. All right, so as I said, calendar 890-25 was withdrawn, so we're moving right on to calendar 888-25, Mr. Traphagen. Carlo mentioned to me as he was walking in, everyone else, hopefully it's the same, everyone's caught up on the recordings so far, and there's the paperwork that we'll have to fill out and get to Steve, but that being said, we're good to go. Remind me, if you would, where we left off.
Yeah,
I don't know if we're up to questions or if we were just at the end of that.
I thought we were at the end of that,
Okay.
and so we have additional testimony. Do we need a microphone?
That square is that rectangle.
Oh, right there.
We will need a handheld if you're going over there, though. I don't know if we have a handheld.
There's none up here.
We don't have a handheld?
It's on its way.
It's on its way? Okay, all right. Talk slowly by the table before you move over there. Okay.
Okay, I'll start by saying this is a continuance, so in the interest of time, we're here to hopefully get approval for an addition to our office. And with that and all the testimony that's already given, I'm going to start with Bill, our engineer and traffic advisor. And
planner.
pardon? And planning, sorry. I didn't mean to take
Oh, no, that's okay. Caroline would like to see that.
that's right.
We can kind of see it. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I guess the question is, last week, or the last time we were here, there was a few board members that were not here.
Correct.
So I guess the question is, do you want me to go over the drawings again, or just highlight some of the... Because there really were no real major changes.
I don't think you need to. I mean, everyone, I believe, listened to the recordings from last week, so you should be okay. If there are key points that are going to lead into today's content that you want to highlight, that's fine, but I don't think you need to rehash too much of it. So, whatever is new, let's cover that and go from there. And I believe we're getting a microphone shortly.
Okay. Well, the first drawing, again, is just the existing site, lot 1, lot 2. And the second drawing on this sheet on the right side is the proposed subdivision connection. And I'll get into some of the planning to the existing lot 2, because of its shape and size. But that we did go over. What I'll try and do is, with regard to the negative review letter, I'll try and address some of those comments. One of the comments is that they wanted the 10-foot utility parking easement shown, which is shown on the drawing. Unfortunately, it's a little bit light on this particular drawing, which is drawing consolidation point. But the deed description, they said they did get a copy of it, in their letter. Skipping through some of the drawings.
Yep.
And these are the same drawings you marked as exhibits last time, right?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They're the same drawings. Another one of the comments, which is one of the variances listed, is that when you have a one-way aisle, 16 feet is the minimum width. On the initial drawing, it was 15 feet, but that's easy enough to be made 16 feet, so that one particular variance will be eliminated. And also what I did mention, which was on the drawing in front of the board before, was the entrance from Kindergarten Road is a straight shot into the site, where before I had it as a curve. And this was a comment that was brought up at the third meeting back. All the notes, the bulk table, everything else is still the same. On this drawing, which is the grading plan, really nothing has changed on this one. We do have the handicap spot, and we do have the electric vehicle charging station. Again, one of the comments were is that this should be denoted as a charging station, which we will do. The charging station is going to be constructed. It's not going to be, put in so that they could build it sometime in the future. We'll put a sign on here that just says electric charging station. And I do notice that some places they actually have green stripes, for the electric charging station, which we will do also. Nothing's changed on this drawing, but say if the board approves this application, what I mentioned in regard to the charging station, we will put that sign up. We did submit these drawings also to the county, but Eric Timsack from the county is the one who's reviewing it, and he's on vacation. He'll be back tomorrow. So I tried to get some feedback from him prior to tonight's meeting.
Okay, at least it's not just us you're waiting on.
In the landscaping, it's the same as the last hearing. We did, as that hearing noted, we did add more landscaping on the east side where the residential home is on Maple. The 10-foot easement is shown here, and the parking does extend over that now. Now, the variance also that was brought up was 3-foot distance between the rear property line on the east side and the edge of the park. There is a very well-defined hedgerow of arborvitaes between the parking lot and the property line of the lot next door. The lighting plan is still the same, but what we did testify at the last hearing was that we will have this 6-month look-by. If there is any intensities or any light spillage onto adjacent properties, then all these lights are going to be shielded so they can be adjusted so that that can be rectified. Soil erosion, no changes. That has been approved, by Bergen County Soil Conservation District. Then the last drawing is the construction details. Again, at the last meeting, we added the seepage pit. Again, there was a comment that dimensions of this got to make sure that we're 10 feet from the building or the property lines, and that will be assured. We did submit a drainage report. I don't know if the board members got a copy of that, but that was like 70 pages. And Dave has all that also. And he had a few comments. And any comments that I want to say regarding engineering or that likely it has, we will address. That would be our guarantee.
Okay.
I guess the next will be the planning.
Do we want to stop for, I know a lot of this, thank you for covering the key points. A lot of this was covered from last time, but since you covered it now, let's stop for questions on this section, then you can go into planning. So there might not be any because they might have been asked last month, but Dave, anything new on this?
Sure, just a couple of quick questions. I know in some of the revisions, there's still some stuff open. I heard in your testimony that you'll address any of our comments that we have, and you'll make that a condition of the approval should the board act favorably. But I do want to just go on the record as far as one particular item. I think in your testimony prior I think you had testified that it's not a major development.
Yes.
And then as far as major development, typically it's either 1 acre of disturbance and/or a quarter acre of new motor vehicle surface. I know in looking through the table, it's a little difficult to discern some of that. I guess, can you just put on the record whether or not, I get we're under the acre, but as far as combining the 2 lots and the expansion of the parking, will we exceed that quarter acre of new motor vehicle
No, so what
surface?
I'll do is I'll verify it again for you and then send you a letter stating that, certifying it.
Okay, that's fine. And then as far as the drainage report, just for the record, we did get a revision to it over the weekend. I haven't had a chance to look at that, but again, that could be something made a condition of the board's approval as well. If there's any issues that we have, we can work with Mr. Page's office and get those addressed as far as that. So if I heard correct, you're able to eliminate the access aisle with variance that you would need?
Yes, on the westerly parking lot, the easterly parking lot, we basically followed exactly what's there now. And so if it's a 13-foot aisle, which I believe it is, that's going to remain that. So it's still a variance, but that's still in our variance list.
And then as far as the frontage of the property along Kinderkamek, the existing concrete has a scoring pattern. So any sidewalk that would be replaced, you would match and follow the existing scoring pattern that's out there to match?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. It's fine. Okay. I think that was the main stuff that I had that I wanted to go on the record.
Okay.
So.
Caroline, anything yet, or are you waiting for the planning?
Just a couple comments. You did you receive our updated review,
Yes,
right?
I did.
Right, because you only mentioned the Neglia review. So I had some comments in there about the refuse and additional landscaping around the refuse area, and also we needing some, I think, details of the refuse area. And I think I also asked for a description of garbage collection. Can you talk about that?
Is this a new exhibit?
Is this the
Yeah,
Is that new?
what I did is, again, in case some questions came up for tonight's meeting, before I could have submitted everything to Gabriella.
Okay.
I just did a quick drawing to show the refuge area, if the board members would like to see it.
So can we mark that as Exhibit A10?
Sure.
And can you identify it for the record by the date and title?
It's called the trash enclosure detail, and the date is 7/20/25.
And it's one sheet, correct?
Yes. So you see it?
Sure. Yeah, you can just pass it along.
So my report actually says colors. Thank you. Of my report. So you're done.
Thank you.
My report actually says construction details of the refuse enclosure must be provided on the site plan, including colors, materials, and dimensions. So this is black and white. So is there a color that's on here,
It's going to be
or
a wooden fence,
wooden fence?
so it's going to be brown? White. Yeah. It'll be white.
It'll
White.
white. So is it going to be wood that's painted white, or?
I think painted white because it does sit in front of a white fence that our neighbor has constructed, which is a plastic fence, so I thought it would become less visible for that reason. Similar to the white fence in front of the office, for instance.
So that the record is clear, this reference is a 5-foot-high solid wood fence. That's not accurate, is what you're saying. That's going to be a white. Will it be wood painted white, or?
Yes, wood painted white.
Should the board act favorably on the application, this is going to have to become part of the plans with the corrected description because, or clarified that it'll be wood painted white.
Yes, that is correct.
What about any additional landscape screening around the refuse enclosure?
I can add some more. I mean, I didn't put any around this particular drawing because I wanted to show the detail of the construction of the drawing. So we can put arborvitaes around it. I mean, there's arborvitaes along the east property line, so we can include that to encompass this as well.
So the revision would include, in addition,
Landscaping will show that.
right, so you'll add arborvitae around the refuse enclosure as well?
Yes.
And I think it should be a condition that you would agree to work with the board planner.
Sure.
To her satisfaction, to everyone's giving, just because we don't have a detail of it.
We asked that the detail that was provided isn't fully what we requested, and also that we don't know that, we'd like to see that with the landscape planning, so that, landscape planting, so that would be a condition, should the board act favorably?
Correct.
Okay, so. And can you just, did your previous testimony describe the refuse, the garbage pickup process?
Yes, it did.
If you did, can you just please remind me, I should say?
Yeah, so what this is the main purpose of here, too, is that the existing garbage, refuse, trash areas in the front of the property. So now this is going to be moved to the back. So if we kept it in the front, then it would be another variance. So we wanted to eliminate that. So my understanding, this is a private hauler that handles the garbage for this site. And the garbage is basically trash paper. They don't process food other than maybe what people bring there for lunch, and that's about it. So it's going to go into garbage cans, trash cans. There's no dumpster or anything like that. And then the hauler will actually stop on Kinnicamack Road. They'll walk up the driveway, get the trash out of the containers, and then bring it back down to Brookside. And then they will load the trucks with the garbage.
So the hauler will stop on Brookside, not Kinnicamack,
Brookside.
right? That's what I thought. Hauler will stop on Brookside, go back into the property, obtain the trash barrels, and bring them down. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
And then return them to the property.
Yes.
I think those are all of my non-planning comments. I guess there's some on planning. What about, there was a comment about the Historic Preservation Office.
Yeah,
Was there communication with the Historic Preservation Office?
Yeah, I have no obligation when you're on the National Register. If I was in a historic region, then there would be plenty of regulations, use, and also aesthetics of the building. But being on the National Register, that's a permanent designation, but you can become delisted. And if it's not treated properly, you would be delisted. So I don't have anything to provide other than that is the rules of the registry.
Okay, thank you.
We
But-
did make it a condition that any and all approvals that are necessary, including going back to the National Historic Register, would be a condition of approval in the event this is approved.
Okay, so my notes had indicated that there would be communication with the DEP Historic Preservation Office in advance, so that's.
We can make it a condition.
So it's going to be a condition?
Yep.
Okay,
And they could provide the board with the correspondence.
okay. I think that's it for now, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Danielle, anything else?
No.
No? Okay. Members of the board, questions? on the new, sort of new testimony?
I have a few.
Okay.
So what's the existing buffer in the back on the east side? Right now, you're proposing 3, which is less than what's required. What is it now?
It's 3. Because again, on the east parking lot, we're keeping all the dimensions as they are now. The only change we're making is I have a little turnaround area west of that parking lot, and then we have the trash enclosure that's added to that side as well.
Okay, so the buffer is the same.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Excuse me. And then, right, you're asking for a number of variances, parking for the buffer, which I guess is existing. Have you thought about other options that would reduce or eliminate those variances with respect to the site?
The problem we have is that this lot 2, you have it a little bit wider in the front and then it narrows
Right.
back. So you can see the building pretty much takes up a lot of the property on lot 1. And so to make it a conforming or uniform building, we came out, the architect did, to go north from this building here. So the parking and everything is in the front, which it is now, and you have the parking also in the back, actually the side of the property. So if we, number one, if we did do the addition, then of course we eliminate the variances. But because of the building shape, in order to make it more continuous and part of the integrity of the existing building, we had to keep it the way it is.
Okay.
So the buffers, the parking, all that stuff are generated because of the size of the lot and what we're trying to do.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other members, questions?
Okay.
Okay. Any members of the public, questions for the content just discussed? No takers? Okay, we will close it to the public. Thank you. Okay, is next planning? All right, let's go.
Okay.
And I know you were previously sworn, but I don't know if we have his qualifications as a planner.
Mr. Page has been here quite a bit. I don't know if we've covered it, but
And your license is current?
Yes, it is.
Okay, perfect.
Feel free. Yep.
Okay, the property, as we all know, is in the B1 zone. It fronts on Kinnecamack Road and Brookside Avenue. Kinnecamack is a county road, so we do have to get county approval for our access into the site from the county road. The proposed property consists of 2 lots, Block 221, and Lots 1 and Lot 2. Lot 1 has a present Traphagen property. The building is located on it, and it consists of about 14,376 square feet, which is 0.33 acres. The property consists of approximately 3,400 square foot building, 2 stories. Parking is along the easterly and westerly sides of the property with access onto Brookside Avenue for both parking lots. Lot 2 is a vacant lot consisting of 6,707 square feet. It's 0.15 acres. The site's occupancy was a single-family home with retail on the lower level. Presently, what remains is just a driveway. The house, unfortunately, had caught on fire and burned. The site on the north is a mixed-use building consisting of retail on the lower level and apartments on the second level. This is all part of the B1 zone. Along the east side of the property are 2 single-family homes, and one of the single-family homes accesses off Maple, while the other one accesses Brookside. There on the south side is a professional office building, and that is consisted of commercial professional tenants. Along the west side, across Kinnecamack Road, is a strip mall with several tenants and retail establishments in those buildings. You also have a single retail building, which is the Riverdale Florist, also across the street from the proposed project. The site is proposing to add 3,500 square feet on 2 floors to the existing 2-story Traphagen building. The addition is along the north side of the building, extending north towards the northerly property line, and that would be of Lot 2. The westerly part of the lot will be expanded, and the trash area that is facing Kinnecamack Road will be relocated, as I mentioned earlier. The parking lot will be constructed out of porous or pervious brick pavers, which will act containing the drainage within the property, and no drainage would flow off the property. That is the intent of it. We're also proposing a van-accessible ADA space. We have the ADA ramp that goes from this space up to the front entrance of the addition. We can't have the ADA access along Brookside because of the change in grade. But what we're proposing here, because this property, Lot 2, is relatively flat, so actually the ramp that we show conforms to ADA regulations. We're also providing an EV charging station, and that charging station will be constructed where a lot of times developers will say they're just going to make a make-ready, but this will be usable. The easterly parking area encroached over Lot 15, 594 Brookside. As part of this application, a 10-foot wide parking utility easement is being proposed. The main reason for that is in case any of the 2 properties decide to sell, they will have this easement that will go along with Lot 1. The project will create several variances. The majority are C2 variances, the flexible variances. In addition, we do have to generate, or we did generate a D4, which is a FAR variance. The project is in conformance with several regulations within the B1 zone. Minimum lot area, that basically there's no requirement in the B1 for that. The second minimum lot width, where 150 feet required, 150.22 is proposed. One issue, again, if I want to make reference to a C1 variance, again, this is Lot 2, since Lot 2 is now becoming part of the overall project. Lot 2 has a front yard dimension of 63.52 feet, which is still would be a variance, but it does narrow down to 47.6 feet in the rear. And that, again, has created some of our design issues with regard to this project, which I mentioned earlier. Number 4, the minimum front yard setback, 15 feet required. We have 37.7 feet, so it's no variance. That's conforming. Minimum side yard, 10 feet required, 10 feet proposed, so that does not create a variance. Rear yard, that's a variance because parking is supposed to be in the rear of buildings within the B1 zone. So in one sense, it's a pre-existing condition, but we did expand it, so it's a new variance. The maximum building coverage, 40% max. We're at 22.9%, so we're conforming in that. The maximum lot coverage, 85% maximum, and we're at 67.7% proposed, so again, we conform there. Maximum building height is 35 feet, and 30 feet is what the existing building is, and we're not changing. The addition's still going to be within the 30 feet. Off-street parking, the requirement in the ordinances for the B1 zone for retail use or office use is 1 parking space for every 250 square feet of building area. The total building is going to be 8,458 square feet divided by 250, so that gives you 34 parking spaces required. But what we have is the 1 EV parking space, so we get credit for 1 parking space, so that's 33 is what's required. So we are providing 21 spaces with this site plan application that we have here, and we have a variance of 12 spaces. I did mention at the last hearing that the number of employees at Traphagen is 30 employees, and Mr. Traphagen said that at any one time you may have 12 or 15, maybe 16 employees on site. I also noticed that I've gone by this site numerous times and I've never seen the parking lot full. And the reason for that is that because of the nature of their business, you do have people who do work from home. You do have people that are visiting clients because it's an accounting firm as well as a financial advisors. And I did also note that some of the employees do park at the municipal lot behind the mini-mart. So that's why we feel the 21 parking spaces is more than adequate for this intended use. I'll list the variances. The first one is 240-6.4, which is buffer, which we just spoke about, the 3-foot buffer on the east side of the property. And I believe also there may be a buffer on the north side where our parking lot is with the building. And I do believe the ordinance says if you don't have the 10 feet buffer, we can put up a a solid white vinyl fence or some other structure to act as a buffer between the adjacent properties and our property itself. The second variance is another C2, 240-6.6A. Parking is only permitted in the rear yard. Again, because of this particular site, we cannot put the parking in the rear yard. The only way that would happen is if the existing building was different than it is now, because parking is in the front yard and the side yard, not the rear yard. And if we built the addition so that it was closer to Kinnicamack Road and then had some parking in back of that, there would be no way to access that parking, or the building would be much smaller than what's being proposed. And what we're proposing is basically what is needed for the additional office space, because the addition is just going to provide more office space and a conference area. And right now, when I did visit the site, there was quite a few rooms where you had 2 people in a room. So what will happen is that each individual now will have their own space to work. And being, I guess, in the financial and accounting business, it's kind of nice to keep them separate. Okay, the next variance is minimum access width. There would be another one with regard to the exit from Brookside. The initial plan I had was 15 feet, but we'll make that 16 feet, so that variance was eliminated. So the minimum width is 20 feet for access aisles within parking areas angled greater than 60 degrees. That would basically also pertain to 90-degree parking. The easterly parking lot has an access aisle of about 12.5 to 13 feet. This is an existing and has been efficient in the past for its employees. And part of one of our hearing meetings, the suggestion was to put a sign up that says employee parking only. And we do show that on the drawing, and that will be just strictly for employees. Again, realizing that it is somewhat narrow, that's why we put this backup area in back of where the parking area is the tightest, so the cars can back into that little area and then maneuver easily to get out of the site. The minimum driveway width, it was 240.6.6A4. It's the same as what I mentioned earlier in 3, where the width is not 20 feet, it's 3 feet, or 13 feet. Then number 5 I have is minimum off-street parking. And I just went through that. And again, you know, the employees are 30 employees. Not everybody goes to the office every time. And the total number of employees at site, I was told, is maybe the max of 15. And so based on the demographics of their employees, 21 parking spaces that we propose is more than adequate. Then the last one is a D4. There has been numerous applications in front of the board, I'm sure, based on the 2018 master plan. And part of that is the suggestion back then was to eliminate FAR. We felt that in the B1 zone, FAR is not necessary because you have all the other bulk regulations that control building height, location, density, and all that. So I'll go into it later a little bit more for the special reasons and all that, but that is probably the only variance that has made us here in front of this board, is the FAR, the D4. And based on the size of our addition, that created the variance. And it's really only about a little over 1,000 square feet is what the FAR variance is. I believe it's about 5%, 5.7% over from what's required. 0.35 is what the maximum is for the Borough of Oradell. Okay, also, I'll get into something a little better. Yeah, I'll go to the D4. The intent of the special intentions of the D variances or special reasons must be presented. The special reasons are set forth in the Municipal Land Use Law, NJSA 40:55-D-2. The goals are to encourage action to guide appropriate use and development in a manner which will promote public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Also to promote a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design and arrangements. The addition conforms with the existing building. It does not look out of place and enlightens the historic shape and character of the initial structure. I'd say that the architect that Trapphagen hired made a very good job in making the addition conform to the existing building. The building is a historic building, and I was very impressed with what Mr. Trapphagen has done on the interior to keep a lot of the historic entities of that building intact. And this addition is also still going to help. Not going to have the historic features inside, but it will have the exterior of a historic building. The parking areas are enhanced by adding pervious pavers and provide the grand entrance to the building from Kinderkamack Road. Again, if you remember the detail that was shown by the architect, as you pull into the site from Kinderkamack Road, you have the grand entrance with steps and the columns at that location. So when you do pull in, other than the employees that probably couldn't care after a while, but anybody coming to visit the site would say this is a very attractive building. And again, it's a historic type building. In the building also, again, we needed the additional square footage to provide additional space for their employees as well. So that's an enhancement of their safety and health of working in that environment. So I do believe the addition represents creative development techniques that create good civic design and the visual desirable environment. The building conforms to the character of structures of Oradell. Of course, it's not a brick building, which at the lower end or the northern end of Kinderkamack Road, you have the brick buildings. In this location, you have a combination of wood frame single-family homes, and this is again a wood frame building, which I feel is also conforming with that area. Again, the FAR, as I mentioned, is 1,079 square feet over the requirement, which is about 5.12% increase, which is de minimis. And again, part of that is because of the lot area. If Lot 2 was a square lot, like more so like, or at least a rectangular lot like Lot 1 is, then we wouldn't have this issue. But it does narrow as you go to the back where the building addition is being located. Negative criteria. The project will develop a lot that, well, there are two prongs that we have to provide to the board that meets the negative criteria. The one is the variance can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good. And number two, the variances will not impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan and zoning ordinance of Oradell. The project will develop a lot that has been vacant for several years.
The project will enhance the corner of Kinderkamack Road and Brookside by this building, this historic shaped building. The character of the existing building will be maintained as for the design. For the C1 variance, again, the lot, I feel, one of the items like A in reference to this being a C1 variance is by reason of exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of a specific piece of property. I feel that because of the narrowness of the lot.
I'm really sorry to interrupt you, direct, but now I'm very confused because I thought you'd indicated these were all C2 variances. Did I misunderstand you? And if there's certain ones you're proving by, did I misunderstand? If there's certain ones you're proving by C1, can you please go slower so you can indicate what you're proving with C1 and what you're proving with C2? Because I'm confused.
Sure. The C1, I'm just bringing that up as, in essence, why this lot has an FAR variance, and also why it was a little bit more difficult for the architect and the engineer to be able to make this lot conforming with FAR.
So it's not that you're trying to prove any of the C variances via C1?
No, it's not the C1. It's just making this project more complicated because of the narrowness of that lot.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood where your testimony was going.
No, that's fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, we do have the C2 variances. I did mention them earlier, and hopefully Carolyn and I agree on the number of C2 variances. The board has to consider granting a C2 variance if it, number one, relates to a specific piece of property, which this is, that the purpose of the municipal land use law would be advanced by a deviation from the zoning ordinance requirement, and number three, that the variance can be granted without substantial detriment to the public good. I mentioned 5 C variances, and again, in my opinion, other than parking, they're minimal variances. And unfortunately, 2 of them, again with the parking lots in the front and in the side yard, are pre-existing. And what we did is we just built upon the westerly parking lot, so of course that creates a larger variance than what's already there. The project will enhance the CBD of Oradell. It will be good civic design, and one of their criteria that does create civic design, let's just say, is that we're keeping a historic building. In Burbridge versus Mine Hill, one of the items that they do bring up in that case, which is a D variances, is good civic design and enhancement of the aesthetics of the area. So I believe, again, what the architect has developed on this project does enhance the aesthetics of the building. It doesn't destroy the aesthetics, it actually enhances it. All the above demonstrates that civic design, a desirable visual environment, creative techniques, staying with the architectural design of the historic building, does promote health, safety, and the general welfare of the borough. The variance will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan and will advance the goals of the 2018 master plan. The board, in my opinion, should grant these variances being requested and approve this application. Again, that's my opinion.
Okay. Good. Questions? All right. You want to start?
Sure, thank you.
All right.
I'd like to go back to the FAR variance, and if there's additional testimony or if you can repeat this, because with an FAR, there is the FAR variance, and there's a floor area ratio of 0.35. You're exceeding that. So I'd like a little bit more testimony, if you're able to, about how can the site accommodate any problems or issues that are associated with the requested increase in the FAR variance.
I don't see how that would create any problems if the board does approve this FAR variance. Again, the addition is predicated on what's needed for this particular business to function more properly and smoothly, provide a better health for its employees. And the site plan that was created also conforms to the shape of the building. So in that sense, it would also improve, not really create a issue with FAR. I really don't see that would be a major issue. Again, we're only talking about 1,000 square feet, which is not that much. We're only exceeding the FAR by 5.12%, and the 3,500 square feet of this building addition being attached to the existing building. The existing building also could have some issues, in regard to the FAR. And what we're trying to do is enhance the character, the historic nature of this proposed building. Again, the FAR was based on, it came up because of the lot area that we're dealing with, trying to comply with the parking that the site needs and to provide the amenities that the employees need. And that's pretty much where the FAR came from. Making it smaller would not give them the benefit of what they want in reference to this addition.
How so?
They wouldn't get the office space that they need. Again, they calculated how many offices they would need for their employees. They're now doubled in their offices. So that was like, 5 or 6 offices you needed, or 7?
Yep.
And a conference room. So you put all that together, and then conforming to the number of square feet that an office needs for, say, somebody who's in the finance or the accounting business, and that's what predicated and set the area for this addition.
How many offices are existing today in the building?
I mean,
How many offices are existing today in the building?
existing, 1, 2, 9.
So you have 9 existing offices. So I'm going to come back to my original question on FAR, but before I lose this thought, you have 9 existing offices. Mr. Page testified that there are people doubling up in offices, but yet there's only 12 to 16 people who come to the building every day?
Yeah.
That's where I'm trying to... But if you have 9 existing offices and people are doubling up on offices, that's 18, right? 9 times 2 is 18?
Well, not every,
I'm just the planner, but that's pretty basic. 9 times 2 is 18, but then we heard testimony, we only have 12 to 16 employees who come to the office each day.
Yeah, but not every office has a double.
right.
So I thought I heard your testimony that many offices were doubled up.
Yeah, because I'm sure Mr. Trapphagen and the other officers are not doubled up.
Okay. So you have 9 existing offices and you're building 5 or 6 more. That's 14 to 15. Okay. You see where I'm going with this. I just
I
want to
see
make
where
sure.
you're going.
I'm a little concerned that there's maybe, I want to make sure all the testimony is matching with respect to the request for the size or the size of the building and request to what I'm hearing, what we've heard about parking, because parking, goes to the negative criteria as well.
Right.
So can you explain, I mean, you see where my numbers aren't matching up. So is there any further testimony on this?
Well, I guess with regard to the parking, again, we're proposing 21 parking spaces. And the most cars I've ever counted or saw there was maybe 10, 12 cars, if that. And again, a lot of the employees are working out of office or are parking in back of the mini-mart or working from home. So I guess what we're trying to do, what Mr. Trapphagen is trying to do, is create some more offices, maybe for the senior people, and also a conference room, and then additional storage in that as well. So, it's an office, so unfortunately you do have a lot of space that is not productive. More for files, more for storage, and utilities and whatnot.
Computer equipment.
Yeah, computer equipment.
Can you please remind me how many employees Mr. Traphagen has? Or can one of you please remind me?
Yes.
Yeah, we have 30 employees.
It's
So you
counting.
presently have 30 employees today.
Yeah. And keep in mind that we'd like to grow.
That's my next question.
Yeah. So hopefully our business does grow and, we continue to serve the Oradell community, be prosperous, etc.
How do you have a plan or a thought process at a minimum with respect to how much you'd like to grow? And is it contingent upon, do you have plans for your growth? You indicated you'd like to grow.
We do not. It's a matter of, circumstance, how the market does, clients. But because of COVID, we pretty much do any conferences on Zoom. So we don't have a lot of clients coming in. And many of the individuals are working at home or going to clients. Same thing with partners. They may be in the office one day a week, but they still need a place that's confidential in nature. The best way I can explain it.
Okay. So you presently have 30 employees, so you don't have a specific growth plan that you're looking at, but you would like future growth. You'd like to be prosperous.
We've been in business 44 years, so, incrementally the business grows each year, and we'd like to have the facilities to allow for that.
How often would you say, or how many clients would you say come to your office each week? Non-employees, clients, or whomever.
I mean, it could be none. Could be 2. Could be 5. And they wouldn't be there at the same time.
So you could have anywhere from 0 to 5 people visiting your office each week as well. I'm just trying to get a better grasp of the parking situations, which is why I'm asking these questions.
Yeah.
So, because you're asking for an FAR variance. To Mr. Page's point, you're before this board because you need the FAR variance. Were it not for the FAR variance, you would be before a different board for site plan and bulk variance.
Yeah.
I would anticipate. So, we have to get through that, and then the parking is there as well. So you presently have 30 employees. You hope for growth, but you don't know how many employees. People aren't there all the time. And you don't always have visitors at the office, but some weeks you have up to 5.
Yeah.
Okay. How often,
Well, the 5 could be also in 2 days. Or they could be 1 a day for the week. So the same, if you're looking at parking, the same spot, one spot, may accommodate the entire 5 clients.
okay. I'm just trying to get an idea of your parking needs and if it's going to be met with respect to the 21 parking spaces.
We think
Because-
it is.
I appreciate that. Let's go back to the FAR, though. My initial question on that was, or I was trying to get at is, there are reasons that municipalities have an FAR variance, right? It's a way to further regulate bulk and mass of a building.
Correct.
Would you say that's correct? Yes?
Correct.
Okay. So Oradell has an FAR ordinance for this area, and so therefore there is clearly a desire to regulate mass and bulk of a building. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah, that's correct. That's like you said is what FAR initially was for. Correct.
Okay. But that ordinance still exists today, so we
Yes.
still have to address it. So my question, or what I was trying to get further testimony is, how can this property accommodate the problems that are associated with exceeding an FAR variance, which the FAR is meant to regulate bulk and mass of a building? So how can this site accommodate any of those problems? Because right now, what I'm hearing is that you're exceeding the FAR, and you're exceeding the FAR, you have space where people are doubled up, and you need another conference room, and sometimes there's people who come to the office and sometimes there aren't, and some offices are doubled up, and you do want to expand the business, although there's not a specific number of employees. So there's a lot of all that information, but of course the size of the building is also leading to the parking not being met. Mm-hmm. So in addition to the bulk and the mass of the building, we have that the parking is directly related as proportional to the size of the building. So, right, if you had a smaller building, you would have, which I think maybe one of the board members asked, if you had a smaller building, your FAR variance would either be less or non-existent, and then the parking variance would also be less. So I think that's what I'm aiming at, as well as any other negative implications from exceeding the FAR.
Yeah, I think what Mr. Trapphagen had said is that he's trying to get some additional office space. And based on the space that he needs, putting all the different parameters together, which are the office size, the corridors, the storage rooms, the conference rooms, and all the other amenities that go along with that then put it into a bag, and then that comes out to the size of what you need. And that's how that came about, is how the 3,500 square feet, 2 floors, came about, the design. If we made a smaller building, number one, he wouldn't be getting any benefit from that because, again, he's not getting, what he needs. 1,000 square feet, if you break that down to a small office, that's really not that big in 2 floors. That's basically, 500 square feet per floor, which is about the size of a hotel room. So that won't give him what he wants. So in this particular design, the FAR, the building, came first. And then the next task was to see how much parking you could put on this lot left. And that's where the 21 parking spaces came about. The good thing is, talking with Mr. Trapphagen, is that even though he has 30 employees, he may have only 15 on site at any one time. That's what, the way it works. Again, these other employees, as he mentioned, are either working from home or visiting clients, and that goes for the principals as well as the staff members as well. So in that sense, the building, 3,500 square feet, is what he needs at this moment to make this whole design functional. And the parking then was based on what property we have left. And then the good thing is that because of his nature of his business, he doesn't need that much parking. And that's where, again, the 21 parking spaces, according to the owner of the business, says is more than adequate than what some other user would require.
Also, the adjacent property owner on the west side, his existing home is about 75 feet from the end of his property line, and then there's some additional space before we have our building. So visually, I don't think it would make any difference to our neighbor, and we feel that he's supportive of what we intend to do.
So, okay.
Would you concur with Mr. Trapphagen's statements as a planner? Or do you have any, because he can't really give testimony as a planner.
Right.
You're the planner, so can you provide?
I understand where Mr. Trapphagen is coming from. And yes, what he's saying is the building is pretty far back from where our proposed addition is going to be. So the visual impact, the necessity of having a bigger variance or offset or something from that property is not needed. Plus also, there's a fence separating his property and that property. And part of our site plan application is that the fence will be repaired because it does need some work, or we'll remove it and put in a 6-foot-high white vinyl fence, which will act as a buffer. So we are 10 feet from that property line with our building. So we are conforming to this side yard setback, and so I feel that it's not going to be an issue.
So those are, I mean, of course, the board's, the board's determination, but those might be examples of ways that the site is accommodating problems associated with the FAR. Is there any, that's what I was hoping to get, was looking for. Is there anything else as a planner that you can offer with respect to the proposal?
Again, in my opinion, as a planner, I feel that there was so much put into this building that we can't make it any smaller than it is. And we also try to comply with some of the other ordinances within the borough, like side yard and that. So we did stop at those locations. Again, like you say, is there something more I can offer? He created this addition based on his needs and based on proper design for an office so that the employees will have the benefit of their own private rooms, have the space. Because again, when you do the space management, each office is supposed to have so many square feet for an individual to work properly without feeling that they're claustrophobic or have other issues. So again, the design of the addition went into that. And that's also what created the FAR that we're dealing with. And the point is that if you eliminated 500 square feet on each floor or chopped this 1,000 square feet off the second floor, number one, it's going to defeat the purpose. And we feel, again, that this is the minimum what Mr. Traphagen needs for his expansion and to provide a good, healthy working space for his employees.
Do you think that the other screening mechanisms, such as landscaping proposed and the lighting, which is not really screening, but the manner in which the lighting is proposed, do you think that those offer any additional benefits to the application, in particular the testimony we're attempting to solicit?
Definitely the landscaping that we're proposing, because initially we had some arborvitaes along the northeasterly property line. A comment was brought up that why don't we double that, which we did. So we've added a lot of arborvitaes, a lot of landscaping, a lot of plantings, and we've enhanced that whole area. Because if you look at the lot 2, there's no landscaping, there's nothing there, and it looks kind of vacant, run down. So again, what we're doing is we're enhancing that as part of this whole application. Again, we could work with you if you do feel that we need some more landscaping. That's not an issue. But we do feel that we did provide some adequate landscaping to this property. The lighting, we do say that the borough has the right to check the intensity of the lighting for 6 months once it's installed. And if they feel that the intensity or any spillage or anything like that needs to be adjusted, it would be adjusted through shielding or downsizing the intensity of the lights.
Thank you. One final thing, let's just go through the C variances just to make sure that we're on the same page.
Sure.
So we have the FAR variance, of course, which is not a C variance. We have the buffer area of 3 feet being proposed. Parking location, because parking is only permitted in the rear yard.
Correct.
Minimum aisle width of 20 feet for access, but it's in the easterly area, it's about 12 and a half feet. My number 4 is the one you eliminated on my report, the minimum driveway width of 16 feet.
Correct.
That's to be disregarded because you're
Yes.
going to conform. And then the minimum driveway width, Brookside Avenue easterly ingress, 20 feet is required where you have 13 feet. And then off-street parking, you're proposing 21 and 33 are required. And that includes the credit from the EV space.
That is correct.
Okay, so we're on the same, we're in agreement with respect to those.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
All right, thank you. Dave, anything on this?
I have no further questions.
All right.
Caroline did a great job.
Agreed. Danielle?
Do have a question, and it's just to clear up some information I needed if, in the event this is approved for the resolution. you have 30 employees, and you said they're doubled up, and then the purpose of this addition is to add 5 to 6 office spaces, and that they're not going to be doubled up. But are you saying that all the existing employees that are there now are going to be moved, and there's never going to, there's obviously, if you have 30 employees now and you're expanding, at some point there's going to be double offices, right?
Could you just
I just found some of the testimony a little confusing with respect to the existing employees you have,
Yeah.
which was 30. You have 9 existing offices, and they're doubled. But then you're going to be putting 5 to 6 new
Well,
offices.
the 9 offices would also include a conference room, for instance, so it's not, the space is there, but it's not used as an office.
And then some of them are not doubled because they're like
Some
executive.
of them are not, that's right.
So
yeah.
some of them are doubled, and then those ones that are doubled would be given a new office.
Yeah.
But then where would the potential new employees or part of those 30 then go? Are there, at some point, there's going to be doubling of offices, right?
Well, it may be, it depends on, like, if we employ an intern, we would probably put him in an office with somebody that's more experienced for the purpose of.
So then how many of your employees are 100% remote?
About half of them. Well, half are either remote or at clients.
But like that they never come to the office, and they don't even have an office space, and they use their home as an office space.
I would say about 8.
8, okay.
8 of the existing 30?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to jump into
No,
this.
that's where the numbers aren't quite adding up for me for the purposes of a resolution.
Oh, you said never come to the office?
Yeah, so if you have 30
Well,
employees.
no, they would come. I'll have to be corrected there. They would come to the office on occasion.
So all 30 employees at some point, whether it's one day a week or will come to the office. It's just they're staggered.
That's right.
Okay, so then you really need 30 offices, but they share space?
Some share space. The more experienced don't, the less experienced do.
But you'll only have like 14 offices.
Yeah,
Okay. And then you're going to expand.
we hope to, but I mean, we could hire 2 people that would be working at home.
Okay, so I wouldn't want to limit you to only having offices with one person in it. And I just want it to be clear when the board is looking at granting a parking variance, that it's not necessarily a situation that was stated on the record that it's going to be one person per office, because it's not, is the testimony that I'm getting now.
It may not be, depending on our growth.
Just so the board is aware. And then the parking, you said that there's additional parking available with the municipal lot. Is that free parking? How much of that is available? Do you have any idea?
Well, the municipal lot is the one in back of the mini mart,
Okay.
and that's where some of the employees work. That's where they park. And I have noticed some of the employees walking down from there, then crossing Kinnecamack to get to the office.
Is that parking free, or is it?
It's free.
Okay, so, and do you know how many parking spaces are available, roughly?
Not offhand. I mean, the total could be like 40 spaces, I'm not sure.
So you don't have any information on the availability of that on any given day?
I've been through there several times, and I did notice that there's plenty of available parking. The only time it starts getting preempted is at lunchtime, and that's when the landscapers park there and take up about 10 parking spaces or more.
So in your opinion, would there be available parking in the event you have more, if all your employees decide to show up one day? Would there be enough available parking in the vicinity? at that
Yeah,
municipal?
because across the street in back of the strip mall, there's plenty of parking. There's also parking on Brookside. There's limited parking on Kinnecamack Road. So we feel there's plenty of parking in the area.
Because that's testimony I needed as well, because I didn't hear that testimony, so
Yeah.
thank you.
Can I follow up?
Yeah.
I have a follow-up. So the parking behind the mini mart, that's available via permit to anyone who works or lives in Oradell? Is that the case?
No, I mean, it's free parking.
I would say
It's a
someone wanted to
it's
park
a municipal
overnight.
parking lot.
So you don't even need a
commuter
permit?
parking lot?
Anybody can park there and you can park there from 9 AM till, you know,
Most of a commuter sticker, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
They can shop,
what.
they can park at the
I
shop.
believe it's a commuter lot where you should have a resident parking sticker on your car to be parked there.
Just a time limit. It's just like a retail time limit with no money.
Oh, it's a time, okay.
Time
But
limit.
if it's time, but is
So
it,
it's the subject to the offender who parks in the parking lot there. If somebody calls off the sign, their car could be towed out of there because they're beyond the time limit.
what is the
they can-
time limit? Does anyone
I'm
know?
not sure, but you know,
Well, if it's a commuter lot, it's going to be.
sure it is a commuter lot.
it's not a commuter lot.
not
It's
a
a
commuter lot?
retail plaza lot. It's
Oh, you're
you know, to go
thinking-
shopping. You want to go to Jay's Pharmacy. You want to go up the block and go to another store. You probably have a certain amount of time during certain amount of hours of the day to be parked there.
I think that's the retail lot. You're talking about the commuter lot behind the milk,
Yeah, the mini mart.
there's
Oh,
another
okay.
lot.
Yeah, then that's I think like a bus lot.
That's a
Might be
bus lot. I don't know if you need a sticker for it or not. I forget.
I think the commuter lot is also, the time is either an hour and a half or 2 hours, which is more than enough to accommodate somebody coming in, picking up client records and leaving.
I'm sorry. Can we go back? I'm kidding. So
Maybe we can.
your testimony is that, so I just assumed if your employees are parking there, they're parking there for the day. You know, maybe they work 9 to 6 and they're parking 9 to 6. But now the testimony is that they're coming in for just a couple hours
Some
and picking
come
up.
in for less than.
I'm sorry, there's a gentleman back here speaking as well. I'm having a problem hearing.
Okay.
You gotta be sworn in, I believe.
If
It's not-
how would we
my question's not
work
ridiculous.
if there's additional information coming from another partner of the applicant? How would we properly introduce that to get these questions answered?
Unless there's any other, I almost,
Done.
we could swear them in, or we could finish planner's testimony and then open it up for questions and public questions, or we could just, for efficiency, just have him come up but then the questions would be for the planner and that new witness.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, as long as we're within enough procedure.
I just have to swear him in.
Okay. Or why don't we do that?
Hey, Chairman, in the meantime, the parking lot that we're talking about behind the
Mini
deli,
mart.
the mini mart. So there's a sign in the parking lot, it just says parking is permitted 5 a.m. to midnight every day, no overnight parking. That's the
Okay.
signage that's in the parking lot there today.
So
I'll
that-
have to look and see if there's anything in the town code
Okay.
as far as any restrictions, but the signage that's there at the parking lot, that's what it indicates for that facility.
And David, how many spaces are there?
I'd have to
I
count
didn't
them.
think it was very big.
I mean, there's
They made
probably
it.
40 maybe?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong lot then.
Is that the same restrictions that are on the other commuter lots, though, correct?
It's not.
The ones over closer to the train station, I believe you have to have permits,
You need a
but
sticker for
this
that.
area here and then even behind Jay's, there's no restrictions as far as the parking. And I know in other applications, that's been looked at for, shared parking and stuff that we've heard.
That's sufficient for, I don't
Okay.
have any
So then
other
we don't need to
questions.
swear in.
That's up
Okay.
to the board.
All right. Well, if we don't, if your questions are answered, then we don't need to bring anyone else forward.
Okay.
Just to keep it smooth. Good for both of you? Good? Okay. Moving on to the board then. Members of the board, any questions?
I just have one quick question. Mr. Travigan, any intention to use this as a multi-tenant building? Currently, in the space that you operate now, do you have any affiliates that you share space with?
No.
So the intention of the addition isn't maybe to just have an option for extra office space potentially for an affiliate or somebody else? It'll strictly be for your operation?
Yeah,
Okay.
no tenants, right?
And then in the future, again, I just recall, everything connects, right? In between both spots? But if you were so kind to offer me the building to purchase, could I rent to two different affiliates to waste between the way the building is set up? So your addition, do you have a bathroom and everything operation that they could operate independently as two spaces, or
I don't.
by
I don't-
merging them they come as one?
Well, I think there'd have to be some major improvements. Because as advisors, wealth advisors and accountants, we can't be integrated with other individuals if there's common space that would interchange between.
Of course, you mentioned that you're going to be building a lot of private offices. So all of those individual offices could be locked up and separated from, say, each other affiliate there. So that's, merely just a question on the space or discussing the amount of employees, that as you're adding all the square footage, just want to make sure that it potentially won't turn into a multi-tenant building with a lot of locked doors that, people coming in and out at different hours because they're operating their business, say, out of maybe their own private office suite and aren't necessarily, say, an affiliate of the business. You just get an understanding a little bit of the operation, that's all.
Yeah.
So was that, what was that, did you get an answer?
So, ultimately, is both buildings are connected, right? But you could, if I close it off, the new addition, there's a bathroom there, it's all independent, and then on the other side of the existing building, you have bathrooms and operations, and entrances on either side.
So, if I could paraphrase the question, does the planned version of the building lend itself to multi-tenancy? Like, could you turn that building into one of like those ones down the end of Kinderkramak where you have multiple like turn each office into something you rent out?
Yeah, I don't think we have adequate utilities in both buildings. We have it in the existing. But
And you could make that a condition, that it shall be used by one
the
tenant.
other thing I want to mention, we're here 44 years.
I know, yeah.
You know, I have
No,
the
and it's
third
not, the question isn't the
generation
intention for that, right? But this is for eternity,
I
right? So
understand.
eventually, when we're all not here, it
I
could be for
understand.
somebody else, and we're leaving it for them. So that was.
Well, I think too that if you ever came to that to happen, you'd have to come back to the board again for
Yeah.
approval. So it just wouldn't be something that would happen overnight and you have two tenants. You'd have to go to, well, if it's FAR still, but it'd probably be a planning board issue. They'd have to go to the planning board for
But,
approval.
and also, if we make it a condition, to remove it as a condition, they'd have to come back to this board. So you'd still be
I think
protected.
that's
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Along the same lines would, because again, understandable for your business that, this type of space makes sense and the parking appears to work for you, but it's definitely an issue in town in a lot of areas. Is there the possibility that, if the applicant would agree to it, that you could set a maximum occupancy at any point in time on the building? Therefore, it may curtail how you schedule your employees coming in, the times and all, but it would also protect the long run of, if you expand so big and you move down to the other end of town to a big building, another business coming in, it would want to run retail or something that would actually require that amount of spaces. So would we be, again, with the applicant's ability to agree to it, set a maximum occupancy on the building at any time? Is it?
I don't see why you can't, in light of the fact that you're granting a D variance and they need a parking variance. And I think if you're not limiting the business to their employees, but you could say, you can make a condition that the maximum number of employees that are allowed to operate on site at any given time is X, and it's what you guys would feel comfortable with.
Right. And that is
I think it would be reasonable. The
a risk to you, yourself as you expand, but it's something that, because what the town is dealing with in so many issues is parking congestion and everything else. And while the plan on the surface is seems very nice in terms of trying to keep the aesthetics of the building, I know you're very limited in what you can do to the building with and try to maintain the history of it.
Yeah.
But parking's a huge issue, and it's gotten away from the town in other areas, I believe. So.
Yeah.
Do you have, or does the board have a number that they were thinking of?
Number would you want to
It
say?
might be helpful to get a recommendation from our professional.
I think we should go based off the square footage of the building and the office. I'm sure there's an industry norm based on the size and square footage of an office building of 8,400 square feet. There's a certain amount of employees that occupancy that normally works. I think.
Before, and it doesn't really matter anymore.
I don't know if we're going to come up with that on the spot here. I feel
That's
like we
right.
need to give a little bit of time between the planners. I was thinking right away, fire code. I feel like the fire department usually tells us how many people can be in a building.
That's right.
That's
think that-
that's typically how it's handled.
Right.
It's all usually a building code matter, and they get involved with the space and all that stuff.
Yeah. So if there's a way to make that discussion a condition of approval around maximum occupancy, I wouldn't know where to begin to pick that number right now. Right? Unless anyone else has an idea.
I wouldn't know. I mean, but I mean, just say, again, if you have, 4 to 5, spaces that you constantly need for client overflow, and then, assuming people can even walk to work, I mean, if 50% of them need, parking, it would be, some place around like, I guess like, 30 to 35 people maximum, similar to what you have today, right? I mean, I don't know if that type of thing works. I mean, you also stated that a lot of the expansion had to do with, storage, computer server room,
Yeah.
and, things that, don't need people in them. But again, I don't really know how to come up with a number.
Also working at home, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. I mean, and that's what we're saying. It could give you the ability to use, if people are in for 2 hours a day or whatever, it just needs to be scheduled and coordinated to the point. I don't know how to judge those things. I mean, if you guys could come back with what you feel could work for your business currently and also give you the proper amount to continue your expansion, within the confines of, trying to work with the piece of property, because it's been well maintained to this point. It's a gorgeous piece of, it's a nice building on the property, and like to see it continue to work.
So we get 3,000.
All right. I think just in the interest of time, we'll come back to that one. Any other board questions?
I have a question on the car, but we can give them a second.
Yeah.
How many square footage is the building? The existing building?
We okay to go on with questions? Or you?
Can I just have a
Oh,
minute?
yeah, of course, yep. Mhm.
$450. 450 square feet per person.
In the old building.
I don't know what the old one is, but that's typically what it would be for financing in there. 450 in the government. 300 square feet.
I'll tell you what,
Legal.
it's 9 o'clock.
So it's
Yeah.
gonna be 450.
If we could, I'm going to try and do everyone a favor. It's 9 o'clock. Let's take a 5-minute quick restroom break. If need be, we'll be back. It's 8:58, really. Let's call it 9 o'clock. We'll come back at 9:05. We can get this question answered.
That's
Before we break,
300.
is there any testimony after this, or is this the end?
This is it.
This is it? Okay. All right. So I think we can still get it done by 9:30. So let's take 5 minutes while you work this out. We will be back 9:05.
Offices you can do that exclude.
All right, we'll just give Caroline and Dave a minute to get back in.
What's your feeling on it, about, think we got it?
I think you do.
All right, 9:04.
I think so. You did an excellent job.
So if you get it, that means you gotta give it your portion.
Cold? It's usually hot in here, right?
You want a red
Yeah.
one? Broke a rib.
You got a red one?
Wow,
You got a red one?
Yeah, but by the end of the week.
that would be amazing. Oh, it's gonna go, we're going back to blowtorch mode again? Oh.
Where's the iron? 6.0.
All right.
But you get it from the side.
Okay, it's 9:05. We're back. Caroline's back. I'm sure Dave will walk right in. Just before we broke, you were working on an answer to what piece of information were you about to share with us?
Yeah, we spoke to Brian Callahan, our architect,
Okay.
to try to get some basis for a number. And, you know, I would like to see a number about 40 or 45, but Brian could explain how we're coming up with that.
Okay. Okay. Well, he's previously been sworn. Shall we just address it now? Is that procedurally okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just if there's any board questions and public questions, they could also ask him questions.
Okay.
Yeah, hi, good
Thanks.
evening. So, yeah, we just wanted to clarify, the building code says 150 square feet per occupant for business use.
Okay.
And we, just looking at some rough numbers, sort of netted out bathrooms and corridors and things like that, and came up with about 6,000 square feet of what would be office space. And that would equate to about 40 occupants in that space. Just wanted to offer that.
Okay. So with 40 as a maximum occupancy at any one time, obviously there's not 40 parking spaces, but that would be maximum possible occupancy. How does that number sit? Do we have any? I don't know what to. I don't know what to either challenge or push back. I'm not sure where to go with that number. Does that sound reasonable?
Based on the testimony,
Yeah.
it says, you know, the 30 employees looking to grow. So, you know, if the occupancy moves, they hire more people. It seems to be in line with, you know, what the building can sustain, and that the concern would be, again, you have a lot of different private offices, not many employees. They can fill with other small businesses that then we're not really sure of who's coming in and out of the property. So that was really the point of the question, and you answered it in saying there's really no intention to do that. And we appreciate you kind of doing the diligence and kind of coming out with a number where it seems to be in line with where your current staff is right now. So, you know.
So I'm not surprised by the 40 people, but then I think the question remains, what about the parking, right? If we're only going to have 21 spaces.
Well, again, they're not in the office.
No, I know, I understand, but I also, it's a little bit fuzzy where they're, you know, who's going to be in, when they're going to be in, where they're going to go if there isn't sufficient space based on what we've heard.
This is the world we live in today. I wish I could give you concrete numbers, but, you know, it's difficult. We feel it's adequate. If you allow 40, I'd like it to be 45, but 40, according to Brian, seems reasonable. And given the fact that we have such a hybrid system, I mean, we do audits. Some of these employees never come back to the office. It's all done digitally.
What would be, how frequently, so let's say the number was hypothetically 40, how frequently would you have 40 people in the building?
I don't think we'd ever have 40 people in the building.
How frequently would you have 30 people in the building?
Right now, that wouldn't happen either.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's just a matter.
Mr. Chairman, it's more based on the conversation. His testimony is that as his employees and his business satisfies the use, it's for potential use. You know, we hope his business is there for continued generations. But if after or whatever is voted here, we can't control Mr. Trapagan and what he does with the property. So it's just merely the question to understand, to know that if it ever changed, that it potentially won't turn into a almost 9,000 square foot multi-office tenant building where we granted a above FAR and not enough parking spaces. So if we can work a condition in there that, you know, keeps that there, or if another business comes in and needs more space, they have to come in front of the board again and ask for it and prove to us why they need more than 40, and it could be decided, or another board that's here. That was the really
Yeah, no, that's
their testimony,
totally
I think,
fair.
covers that their operation. You shouldn't see where, you know, they got the other municipal lot that maybe we won't see a point in time unless maybe it's a Christmas party. But
Yeah.
hopefully they're all taking Ubers and, you know, they don't need the parking. So,
We
Yeah.
do that outside.
That's fair. No, thank you. That's good.
just to clear my question, too,
Yeah.
so you understand where I'm coming from. Thank you.
So, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question
Yeah.
on the FAR.
Right.
Before, we were talking about the materiality of how far off we were on the FAR ratio. So I just want someone to walk me through that. I'm not, because 5%, one would argue, is relatively small. But I also heard that we were 1,000 feet off on an 800 square foot property. So I'm not understanding the math.
Back to Bill.
Yeah, basically, it was like the 1,000 is a product of multiplying 0.57, you know, the 0.57%, which is what it's over, times the total square footage of the site, which is what, 21,000 and change, and that's where the 1,000 comes out.
But I guess just maybe to put it in different terms, or terms that my brain maybe processes better. So we're 1,000 feet over,
Right.
and the square footage of the building is 8,400 square feet.
But the addition is 3,500 square feet.
What was that?
So the addition is 3,500 square feet. So if you subtract the 1,000 from that, that makes it, as we've been going back and forth with employees and the space and all that, you can see it's not that conducive.
But is the FAR based on the total square
The
footage?
total square footage of the building.
Right.
So the existing building takes up, as you can see, a pretty good chunk of Lot 1. And then we're adding another section to 3,500 to that.
Right.
So if you look at it, you can see how the shape of Lot 2, you know, it'd be nicer if it was a little bit bigger lot, then we wouldn't be in
Yep.
this situation. But because that lot is the way it is, it's lot lines, where it is kind of smaller or less area in the back, and that's where our addition is. So that's where also what predicates our FAR. You know, you're right, we could probably make the building smaller, but it wouldn't give them the need of what they're trying to do with this
Okay.
application.
Okay. No, I understand, but just so everybody's clear, it's 1,000 over on an 8,400
Yes.
square foot building.
And it's 5.7%, like you said.
I have a question and also
Sorry,
comment.
before we get, I just want to clarify, I think it's 1,079
Yes,
square feet
exactly.
over.
Okay.
That's what it is over, just
Yep,
for
which
I'm
about
sorry.
12%
No
of the
worries.
total square
Sorry to
footage.
interrupt you. I just wanted to make sure the record was clear, and I was worried if you got into your question, I would forget and come back to it.
Thank you.
Yeah, quick comment on the, I guess, per testimony, like 5 or 6% increase over the maximum FAR. But I find, I guess the percentage increase would be like a 17% increase of like the floor area that would be permitted. So I guess the existing Lot 1's FAR or floor area is around 5,000 if you're saying that the addition is 3,500.
Right.
And so that conforms with so the existing lot 1 is like 14,000 square feet. So roughly that conforms to the 0.35 FAR today.
Okay.
And you're adding on to lot 2, which is 6,700 square feet, but adding almost like 50% FAR onto that.
Correct.
Okay, just clarifying that. Yeah, that's all I had. I just wanted to get the existing numbers and compare with proposed.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? No? Okay. Questions from the public? All right. State your name and address, if you would.
Hi, Paul Atsunis, 50 Beverly Road, Oradell. Your office hours are 9 to 6, right? Is that correct?
Approximately, yeah.
So how many people come to work in the morning at 9 o'clock?
Well, 15 or less,
15 or less?
yeah.
And then at 6 o'clock,
Mostly less, just to emphasize.
at 6 o'clock, how many people have to go home? Oh, finish up. They finish up at 6 o'clock,
Oh,
right?
it could be 5, it could be 7.
So we really don't know. Okay,
Well, I'm telling you what the numbers would be, right?
yeah.
Because most of our work, is remote.
Okay, I'll go on to another topic then. The customer that comes down to say they're coming down Kinderkamack Road, going south, and they traveling at a certain speed, they have to make a left to get into that parking lot. I don't know, maybe the traffic guy could answer this. How would they do this? Do they have to stop? Because there's a flashing light there.
Well, they would stop if there's cars coming north on Kinderkamack Road, then they would stop to make the left to go into there. The county gave us approval to make the left into the site.
Oh, you have approval for that.
Well, I received their first set of comments, and their comments were, add one-way signs, do not enter signs, things like that. And then they did say that we're going to allow a left turn into their property at this moment. But if they feel or that something happens and it creates a big major issue, then they may reconsider. So right now, they can allow a left turn.
And the speed limit in the B1 zone is...
Also, just a quick reminder, we're on the planning testimony here. I know this is the same human who covers traffic, but we have moved on to planning testimony.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just concerned about that, people are going to make the left there, and with a flashing sign, and maybe people crossing at the same time, and I thought there might be some problem there. I don't know. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anyone else from the public? No takers? All right, we will close questioning to the public. Any more content, closing statements, anything?
I would just like to say we're in town 44 years. We'd like to stay here. I think our professionals did an excellent job. If you look at what I purchased, which was an abandoned building that I eventually got listed on a national register, I think you'll understand that we do a good job. We don't do a cheap renovation, and it's going to be beautiful.
Okay. Danielle, keep me on track here procedurally. Public comment. Okay. So we will open it up to any public comment at this time, if there is any. Okay? Figured. So public comment you get sworn in for, correct? All right. Let's go
If you
through
could
that.
just raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
If you could state your name again for the record.
Okay, my comment is, like I was saying before about...
Sorry, can you just state your name for the record? So.
Oh, yeah, Paul Litsunas, 50 Beverly Road.
Thank you.
Oradell. As I was saying before about, maybe this was the right time to say this, I didn't realize, that when a car comes down going south and on Kinderkamack Road, and they come to that place where they have to make a left to get into the parking lot, should this be somebody trying to cross at the same time, the flashing lights, they would have to wait for that pedestrian, right? Now, there's traffic too, so going back and forth, so they may have to wait for the traffic also, which would back up the traffic on Kinderkamack Road going down south. Right? Now, I believe that the B1 zone speed limit is 25 miles an hour, but I don't think they observe it. I think they're going much faster, and I that's why I'm concerned about this one intersection here, or the left turn. And if they're going to allow it, they're allowing it now. Maybe they're not going to allow it later. And who knows? Perhaps maybe we shouldn't allow left turns in B1 zones anywhere.
That's a county road, so we don't get to make that call.
Yeah, well, eventually something will happen with all accidents and things, and people have been getting hit in our town a lot. And so somebody's going to have to make some kind of a decision, you know, and maybe we got to wake these guys up, whoever the county people are.
Talk to town council and let them know, and then they can...
Pardon me?
Talk to town council and bring up your concern there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm going to bring it up. Matter of fact, I might bring it up tomorrow night, because there's a meeting tomorrow. I think it's 7 o'clock here, special meeting. But... what I wanted to say is, like, the speed limit is not observed, and that may be a problem making that left turn there. So that's all I'm saying, and I don't want anybody to get hurt and stuff like that, you know, and maybe we should just put a traffic light there. Who knows? Okay, thanks.
Thanks. Okay. Any other public comment? All right, seeing no additional public comment, we'll close it to the public. Are we up to board deliberation at this point? Okay. Let's get it started. Kevin, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Mr. Page, Mr. Callan, Mr. Chapagain, appreciate your testimony. To your comment, yes, your design of the building is beautiful, and what you've currently done, we really appreciate it. And I think your attempt to stay within the means has been here, and you've kind of worked and accommodated our planners' comments, our engineers' comments. So I'd like to hear what the rest of my board members have to say. But again, I appreciate your testimony. I think it was very thorough, and we'll see what everybody else has to say for you.
Okay.
Again, I think the plans were very well drawn out. I mean, the architectural presentation from Brian was great. And trying to keep the building aesthetically, historically the same way it was. We appreciate, your efforts to this point in town. Again, my issue is obviously the congestion, which I brought up early on. Obviously, it's a county issue. And I think your first plan in terms of where the driveway was were better. But if the county says it, so be it. I don't know if we can lobby, the county, but that's, again, outside the realm of this board. Comes down to, for me, is the total floor area ratio. And, because of limitations on parking to the other businesses and around. With the current business model, it seems to make sense as long as there's, to me, a long-term limit that if you expand out, move, or whatever, that we, kind of control the long range of the building with some level of maximum full-time occupancy code on it. I mean, I think it's somewhat reasonable.
Okay.
I agree with my colleague as far as the concerns about the floor area ratio and the parking. And, obviously, not having a multi-tenanted building, the concern is the future use, not your use. Your use seems to be well-suited for what you're proposing. It's always the concern about the future that, and with the appropriate constraints, it could work, but we need to be comfortable with that number.
Okay.
Thank you for the presentation. I mean, I think what you want to do there is excellent, and I agree with my colleagues too. I think if we have a number that we can all agree on, I don't see a problem. And I also agree that some sort of restriction where, from a multi-tenant standpoint, as long as you're there and operating your business, I don't think we want to put any restrictions there. But what we do want to do is prohibit whether somebody's going to purchase or whether there should come a point in time in the future where you're going to, as Kevin had said, if you wanted to, block off or rent out offices. If we could have some restriction in there in that regard, I don't see a problem.
So, I mean, it's interesting. The lot that you purchased, the adjacent lot, it is an odd lot. It's narrow, gets narrower at the back end. There have been others that have tried to develop that lot since the fire, and it's difficult, right? So, putting an addition onto your building is, would seem like a good solution for you, a good solution for the town. We don't want vacant lots, right? Certainly that doesn't help anyone. I think the concern that I have, though, is around the FAR, but also the parking. And I do think restricting the number of individuals who could be in the building at one given time might be a good solution to that. Again, perhaps it's not for now, but we're agreeing to, a situation in perpetuity here. I personally think 40 is too high, right? You have 22 parking spots, right? So the difference between, you could have 40 individuals in the building at a time. That's what we're agreeing to. Well, then maybe the number should come down if it's never going to get that large.
Can I talk? Go ahead. Yeah. Because of the remoteness of our work today, we will not have 40 individuals.
Right. So then perhaps the number should come down.
Well,
it could be in the property at any given point in time.
According to the architect, the space would provide that, right? That number, 40.
But the parking does not.
Right. The parking does not. However, there's more than adequate parking all around my office.
So on that one, the discussion and the testimony on the parking to me was quite fuzzy, what I heard.
If there are no further comments, I'll go. I think that the plan looks fine with regards to the buffer area, the parking location, and parking widths. I think there was sufficient argument for wanting to make the addition fit in with the historic existing building, and the arguments demonstrated that these variances were needed. I do have concerns with the FAR and minimum parking spaces. While I do agree that it's sufficient for the current applicants' uses, I share my concerns with my colleagues regarding the future, and also agree that a condition on maximum occupancy may suffice.
Yeah, just to sum it up, I agree with everything that's been said. I'll try not to repeat it. I think, and I do think it's a worthwhile addition. What I like about it that is different than what everyone else has said, it's unique. It creates another unique property in Oradell, which is, I don't know if it's in the master plan, but I know it's in the municipal land use law about a variety of different type of buildings. I think what this comes down to, the conditions of approval, yes, your use of this building, the proposed building, is probably fine. But to, if and when it turns over sometime in the future, 30 years, 50 years, 100 years, it would be great if we could have a condition of approval of no multi-tenancy, and then that number. I don't know if there's we talked about 40. I don't know if sounds like 40 is a borderline number for some of the members up here. I don't know if there's another number you want to put forward as a condition of approval there.
Well, I heard 35, 40. Could we say 38? Just to get this done.
I mean, I don't get to decide myself. So I mean, you just pick a number. What you heard just now? What number would you like to propose for a condition of approval?
I say 35. That's 35. That's halfway. 30, 40. And this is based on all these people being there at one time, which it'll never happen.
Right. Yeah, we would be willing to go to 35 then, if that helps.
Okay. That being said, do we have a motion in either direction for calendar? Hang on, I'll get you the number.
Chris, can I interrupt for 2 seconds?
Yeah.
So, I just want to, so I was not at the last meeting, but I did watch the testimony. Have there been 3 sets of testimony for this matter? That's what I've attended at this point. I just want to make sure before I
believe there's been 3 meetings.
Okay, so I've watched or attended 3 meetings. Very good. Sorry.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Do we have a motion for calendar 888-25?
I'll make a motion that, subject to and this is, legally, within the board's and the town's ability to actually enforce and, set the limits, correct?
I mean, it would be an enforcement issue, but yes, I think you're allowed to put reasonable conditions on any approval.
All right. With the condition of a maximum occupancy of 35 daily employees, that I would make a motion that we accept and grant the variances as stated in the testimony.
And would that include the condition of multi-tenancy?
Also with the condition of multi-tenancy, that it would be,
single use.
Office space.
Okay. And that is a motion to approve 888-25 with those conditions?
That is correct.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Sorry, who said it?
Whoever wants to go.
I think I heard you. Okay. All right. So we have Mr. Devine, Mr. Capriel. All right. Let me get the roll. Yes.
And just that, and that is also subject to the final borough approvals on both sides, engineering, obviously. Yeah.
Okay. All right. With those 2 conditions plus the other ones we've discussed during the process of the application, the motion is to approve. Let me call the roll. Mr. Bartlett?
Yes.
Mr. Camporiel?
Yes.
Ms. Day?
No.
Mr. Lau?
No.
Okay. 2 yes, 2 no. Mr. Devine?
Yes.
Ms. Odinsky?
Yes.
And myself, yes. So that is 5 yes, 2 no. I believe that passes. Congratulations. Standard warning applies 45 days. 45 days from the resolution, somebody can appeal or raise a concern through various legal channels. But otherwise, thank you.
Thank you.
Off we go.
I understand you're all volunteers, so as a resident of Oradell, and being
Thank
a
you.
volunteer myself, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Good discussion. Thank you, board. All right, let's bring forward calendar 891-25, 505 Kinderkamak. All right. All right, and we have a recusal, but we still have enough folks. Thank you. Real quick, while you're setting up, Danielle, do you need me to record who voted what, or does Steve's office pick that up from the recording?
If you could.
Why don't I write it down? Yep. So, motion, second. Bartlett. Dinsky. Camporio. Centennial. Yes. Okay. All right. I'll give that to you later. Thank you. All yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, my name is Matthew Gilson from the law firm of Murphy, Schiller & Wilkes, here on behalf of 505 Kinderkamak LLC. Tonight we are here seeking a change from the resolution of approval from 2021 approving this project. This is the former AAA property, the 20 age-restricted units. As part of that resolution, Condition 9 said that the units shall be age-restricted to persons 62 years of age or older. Should the applicant determine to modify the age at which tenants may reside on the premises, the applicant shall be required to return to the board for further review of such revision to proposal. So that's why we are here tonight. We are seeking not to bring these to market rent, but to bring them to 55 and older. I have one witness tonight, Mr. Tom DiDio, principal of the applicant, to discuss some of the efforts in renting these apartments and how he's had to turn away several applicants, some residents of the borough of Oradell between the ages of 55 and 62, and why he feels that changing this to 55, which is a more standard age condition on these type of restricted units in New Jersey, would be appropriate. So at this time, I would ask that Mr. DiDio be sworn in.
If you could just raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And if you can state your first name and spell your last name for the record.
Thomas DiDio, D-I-D-I-O.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. DiDio, can you please describe your relationship to the applicant 505 Kinderkamak LLC?
I am one of the principals.
So you have been fully involved with this project from its inception?
From day one, yes.
And when was this project approved?
2021, I believe.
And when did you break ground, and when was this project completed?
Well, broke ground immediately after approval. I think it was probably completed in 2023.
And since
early 2023.
And how many units are at this property?
It's 20 units.
And how many of them are currently occupied?
Well, if you take out the COA units, there's 3 COA units, so there's 17 market rate units, and it's taken me over 2 years to lease 17 units. If this was not an age-restricted property, I would rent 17 units in a month and a half. So it's not a matter of what the rent is. It's not a matter of what I'm offering. The property was well built. My tenants that are there right now like living there. It's a nice addition to what was there before. It was an ugly office building, and it's now a very attractive multifamily building. I have had hundreds of people call me and say, "We love the location. We're coming. You know, my daughter lives in Demarest. My son lives in River Edge, and I'm moving from Pennsylvania. I want to come here." And I say, "How old are you?" And they say, 58. Sorry, you can't do it.
So would you say you turned away numerous applicants who would be eligible at 55 and not eligible at 60?
I can tell you, since the beginning of this year, I turned away I have 150 people called me, and I have a success ratio of 2.56%, at least 4 units.
So you would say that moving the restriction for 55 from 62 would allow for a significantly larger pool of applicants to your apartments?
I think it would certainly add, a lot more people who would come and rent from me. I would have no issue keeping the building filled and have no issue, operating and paying the taxes and doing everything we want to do because we think we built a very nice building for the town.
So obviously the goal of senior housing is to keep seniors in Oradell in this area, but obviously a concern of the board would be school-age children being added. Would you testify that the majority, if not all, of the people between 65 and 62 that you've spoken to would not be bringing school-age children in?
I have no children there at all right now, and most of them, I can't guarantee they don't have anybody, but I would say most of the people I talk to are people who have just sold their house and don't have any children.
So you do not believe that moving this age restriction from 62 to 55 would have a significant impact on the school system?
We are a positive on the school system because they pay a lot of taxes and have no children.
So you don't see any substantial detriment should the board agree to amend this resolution condition from the previous approval?
No, I don't see any downside.
I have no further questions for Mr. DiDio and open them to the board for questioning.
Okay, thank you. Let's let the professionals kick us off. Feel like starting?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. There, can you hear me?
Yes.
Is that good? So I was not actually involved in your original application. Was there a reason that the 62 and older demographic was chosen in lieu of the 55 and older? Because I did review the resolution, and it appears like the application might have started 55 and older, and then there was a change. Was something?
The board asked me to do that, and if my feeling is with 20 units, I can rent 20 units pretty well here. I didn't realize the problem that we would have, and so if I had to do it again, I would absolutely say no to 62.
And I missed some of your numbers. You indicated you've spoken with a lot of people who tell you they're between 55 and 62.
They fill out an application.
Okay.
And then I say afterwards, my broker says, well, how old are you? And they say, I'm 58. Well, I'm sorry, we can't go any further.
Okay. And did you say you tracked the number of that application? I didn't hear you the whole.
I have a letter
testimony.
from my broker who basically said since January, he's had 96 leads and 6 that he generated through multiple listings. Mm-hmm. Or 60, I should say. So that's 156 just since January. And we have a success ratio of 2.56%. 4 tenants. So that's not who's in the building. Over the last 2 years, I've rented 17 units in 2 years. Now, in co-units, I have 3 co-units, because as soon as co-units there was 1,000 people for the co-units. I could give those away. So the co-units filled, and then the rest of the 17 units, I have 16 of the 17 rented over a period of 2 years.
Okay. I'm not sure who gets this question. It's probably more for the attorney. It is my understanding that there is, within the 55 and older, there is permission to not, a certain percentage of the units don't need to be filled by age-restricted households. Is that correct, Mr.
In this resolution, I'm reading them that all of them have to be 62 and older.
I was just speaking generally with respect to 55 and older developments. So will the testimony be that should the board act favorably on this, the units would 100% of the units would be filled with 55 and older? Is that the testimony? There wouldn't be any relief for any units that wouldn't be filled by someone 55 or older, with a head of household 55 or older?
Yes, I believe that is, that is correct. The head of household would be at least 55 or older.
Absolutely. I mean, if you want to give me market, we'll go to market. But I'm not asking for market. I'm asking for just going from 62 to 55.
Okay.
So just to try and rephrase that for the record, the previous restriction was that all units had to be occupied 62 or older.
62 and older, right.
The new request is to lower that same exact restriction to 55. So all units would have a 55 or older resident as head of household. I don't know if do we still say head of household? Okay.
That's how I see it.
I don't.
I don't know.
But-
That's how I see it.
Yeah,
typically
no,
referred
that's
to
fair.
in
Okay.
in the and
Mhm.
various regulations.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. We would agree to that.
Your current, your parking currently, are there any parking issues, or, because there was a lot of testimony within the resolution about the vehicle trips, and, and of course there's typically fewer, and et
Ask you,
cetera.
have you been to the property recently?
Not
I have
recently.
45 parking spaces. There's one whole section that is on the corner of the building that's always empty. I have 3 or 4 EV chargers that we put in. So that adds 2 per one. So that adds 8 spaces in addition to like the 40, I don't have the exact number, of 45 spaces for 20 units. I have more parking than I know what to do with.
So there isn't a lack of, there's no
There's no lack
sufficient
of parking. Yeah.
I think that's all I have for right now, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Dave?
With respect to the parking, I guess the change from 55 to from 62 to 55, would that impact the parking at all?
I don't think so.
I have no other questions.
Danielle?
No, I have no questions.
Okay. Board? You had
Yeah,
one.
just to clear up. You only have 4 rented, or you have?
I have 4 since December of 2024.
So today,
I have a total
rent roll
it's taken
percentages. How much are you occupied?
It's taken me over 2+ years, including the 3 COA units. I have 19 out of 20 units rented.
19 out of 20. So really, it sounds like it's more of a timing mechanism than necessarily you can't physically rent the apartments. It just takes longer than traditional, correct?
It takes a lot longer, and it also it's at rents that I barely can meet the debt service and pay the taxes because I had to give it away.
Mm-hmm. Now, with respect to, again, building a affordable building like that, a senior building tends to, obviously, you're going to have more of that kind of turnover period because you're choosing a different funnel.
Let me explain. This is not a senior building. This is no senior services. There's no.
Well, I'm saying age restricted.
Age restricted.
It's just age restriction. So that's ultimately it. But with age restriction, it's just like anything. There's always going to be. It's not going to be like you say market. I'll have a line all the way through, co-units line all the way through. Going into the venture, there probably should have been some assumption that those units being age restricted should take a little bit longer to rent, correct?
We knew it was going to take a little bit longer, but we didn't think it was going to take 2.5 years to 2 years to rent 17 units.
Out of those units, how long have they retained? Like, are they renewing? Like, is it like, are they all original tenants, or you have anybody that's renewed?
There's some rollovers. There's maybe 1 or 2, but we're just on like the first roll because older people tend not to leave. It may take them a year or 2 to leave. Where a normal rollover on an apartment building is like 30% of the rent roll rolls in every year.
But if this is favorable here, then you're 19 people in the building. Now we'll have a list of people that potentially can come in, and new people can come in and pay more money and then push out someone who maybe is paying at an affordable rate now. In terms of just where we stand present day.
No, your affordable units will never move. They'll stay there forever because their rent is
But
like half the market.
motivation would be, as an operator, that you would want to then take a 65-year-old person out of the building to put a new tenant that's 55 to meet the new criteria, because maybe they'll pay a little bit better rent, higher.
That's not the way rent. you can't move a tenant out
No,
unless
I'm not
they
saying
leave, right?
motivation versus you can't do it.
We're motivated to fill our units. I mean, we own properties all around Bergen County, and we stay 100% occupied because we're always below the market, and we know how to manage our buildings, and we run good buildings. We're in River Edge, we're in Dumont, we're in Bergenfield, we're in Park Ridge, we're in Oradell. We know how to run a building, right? We don't throw tenants out. And I don't want to be here in front of this board because I made a mistake and said 62. I should have said 55 when this thing got approved. Nobody would have pushed back on me, but I said the board wanted 62. I agreed to it. I probably wouldn't do it again.
Well, maybe it's a good thing to offer that to the people that need it, because if there's a lot of complexes that are going 55 and up because it's easier and they can turn it around quick, then potentially those individuals that need that housing at 62 are being left behind. But I know you're marketing it. I don't know where you're marketing, who you're searching it for.
Well, it's all over, Rent Manager or Rent.com or multiple listings. But the difference between 52, 55, and 62 is not. It's only the number of people that come and look.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean they can't. That somebody who's 57 can't go down. Can't go to Park Ridge or can't go to Hackensack. It just gives them another opportunity to rent in Oradell.
Yep.
Whereas somebody who sells in Oradell, wants to live in Oradell, wants to stay here. I can't offer me. It's got to go somewhere else.
Of course. Yep. No, I understand. There's more thinking about that keeps them in, but the age with the household, more occupants. I'm trying to recall, they're all one bedrooms in the building again. How does it break down the floor plan? Just to remind me.
There's 12 2 bedrooms, and there's 8 1 bedrooms, of which 3 of them are COA units.
Okay.
So there's 5 market 1 bedrooms.
And some of the 1 bedrooms had like a little office, right? Like a den.
No,
just
so
no extra room. So just 1 bedroom, and then the 2 bedrooms.
1 or 2, and both 1 bathrooms.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just wanted clarification on was the initial application in 2021, did it start out as 55 and then you changed it to 62, or was it the rejected application from 2019 55 and then you came to the 2021 with 62 from the start?
I think we started out originally as a mixed-use building with retail on the ground floor and offices in apartments on the second floor, like we have in another building in Oradell. And then we went back and we just did it as all residential. And then during the process, it was asked for age restriction, and we agreed to the age restriction at that point.
Okay, thank you.
So what were the original variances that were approved?
It was a use variance.
I'm sorry, Caroline?
I'm sorry. I've said it was a use variance. You needed a D1 use variance.
Yeah,
I have the resolution.
Meaning, just so everybody understands, meaning it's zoned for commercial and this is residential?
I think it was
or this is multifamily?
office, and we went just to multifamily.
Right. So I did take a look at the some of the old minutes and the old meetings, right, where the zoning board went through the application, and it seemed to me that central to the argument that was put forward at the time, and when you hear some of the commentary from the board at the time, that the fact that this was age restricted, 62 and over, was meeting a demand in the town and in the county that's unfilled, and probably everybody would agree we don't have 62 and over age restricted property. That was really central, at least from what I read and what I heard, central to the argument around why a use variance made sense. Do you have any comment on that?
Well, I'm not arguing with you that, age. Some people don't want to go into market rate apartments because there's just younger people and.
I'm having a hard time hearing you, Tom. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying there's not an argument that when you go into a bigger apartment complex with younger people, there's more noise. It's a different environment than if you're in my job. It's quieter. There's senior people there. They're all above 62. But what I'm asking the board is that's not going to change. It's just I'm going to move the restriction of 55. So there's still going to be, limit to how many 55-year-old families have kids and parties. And I mean, it's going to be a different mix of tenants. And I only have 20 tenants. So, what we're asking is for a little relief in that I create a little bit more market than just, I've sat for years waiting for the units to be rented and they just don't rent.
Right. I mean, again, I wasn't on the board at the time, but having lived in town, right, that property was vacant for a long time. The building was deteriorating probably. Right, there's a glut of commercial space, right? So in many regards, right, the application made sense. But as I read through it and I was listening to it, a big part of the argument was that this was going to be age restricted, 62 and above, and that is, at least in my view, that is a different demographic than 55 and above. 55 and above, I mean, there's more than enough housing for people 55 and above, right? In town, in the county, right? These are the people who are at the peak of their earning potential. They can afford, they're probably the only people who can afford homes in this town at this point.
Right.
So,
well, yeah, I understand where you're getting to, but I also, I pay taxes in this town. I have a mortgage on this property. I have to service the debt. And if I sit vacant, then all that is affected.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so, it's got to go sort of both ways. I give the town what they wanted. They wanted 62, but I don't think they want me to be in a position where I can't service the debt or pay the taxes.
mm-hmm. So
simple.
What I'm sitting on the board, and I guess I would look to our professionals. What I would expect is that perhaps you come back with a planner who goes through and, because this was a material piece of the application, and walk through the positive, the negative criteria, why it makes sense. The parking, right? I think, we're asking yourself, and I know you're involved in commercial real estate, but, are you an expert in the parking, the traffic, and walk through why this change makes sense. I mean, the other thing that I heard as well, and I'd like you to comment on, is the town, or the zoning board, I should say, asked that the age restriction be provided for in perpetuity, and, the applicant, yourselves and others, indicated that it wasn't at all your intention to change the age restriction back to 55, which is where it was at one point. And not much time has passed. I understand the market reality that you're speaking to, but not too much time has passed. And if that was the intention at the time, it'd be interesting to understand what's changed, other than the market, which I'm sure was probably known, right?
I would just say that I think that the condition that the board put on it certainly leaves open the possibility to come back before the board.
Yep. Well, it did. But what I'm saying, and again, I'm sitting on the board. I'm not a planner myself. What I would expect and what I would hope to hear is an analysis as to why this change, which I would say is a material change, meets the criteria for, the use variance.
Well, my position is not really a material change because I've lived with the building since it was built and I have no parking issues whatsoever. And if you spend time at the building, you'll see that there's more than enough parking spaces. I can tell you there's 20 extra parking spaces. There's only 20 people live in the building. Some of them are only individual people. So you have maybe 25 spaces that are used. At any one given time, I got 45 spaces in the property. I've got a huge dumpster in the back, which is never filled. 2 dumpsters, in fact. So I don't think I'm going to have any problem with demonstrating that there's enough parking. I think it's a matter of can I lease it easier if it's 55 versus 62, and I probably can. And it makes it a much more viable piece of property.
Yeah.
So
I don't doubt. I mean, I don't doubt that from an economic perspective. I'm not in in commercial real estate development, but what I know from my background, I'm not at all surprised. But again, I'm just going back to the original application.
Let's, just in the interest of time, because I do want to be respectful to the other application that we're going to try to get in tonight. Carlo has a couple of questions, and then I have an idea. Go ahead.
Yeah. The only thing, you said there were 3 or 4 COA units in the building there.
3 COA units.
Are the rest of them, even though they're age restricted, if you could get it, they're all market rate units?
They're all whatever the market will bear, yes.
Right. They're not, by reducing the age, we wouldn't be doing anything that would jeopardize whether or not this development was part of our affordable housing responsibility or anything like that. That has
No.
nothing to do with this, right?
No, it's
I just wanted to know that.
3 COA units.
Okay.
To the contrary, this is contemplated in the new affordable housing plan as existing COA units, and we obviously will remain bound by that.
No, absolutely. I just wanted to make sure. I thought I heard that the rest were market rate units or whatever the market could bear. There was no, that's all I wanted to know.
Okay, correct me, this is a D, right? This is a D, so you need 5. There's 1, 2, 3, there's 6 of us up here. It sounded like Caroline had some questions that we're not going to get answers to tonight, maybe a few others with regarding to a potential planner discussion. If you're open to it, maybe come back the next meeting, either with some planning testimony. I don't know, maybe Caroline can advise what other questions we might like to get answered, because I know you weren't finished there.
Thank you. I thank you for saying that. I asked what seemed to be relevant. And
that's
based
fair.
on my review of the resolution, as I indicated, I wasn't part of, I didn't review the application. I didn't sit through the testimony, nor did I go back and read minutes as some one of your board members did. But I think that there's legitimate questions with respect to the positive and negative criteria. That's
okay.
I think that's legitimate, and respectfully, it's not my place to
No,
provide them with
that's fair.
testimony.
And I know we all thought this was a quick case at the beginning. I want to be fair to you also, as well as to the board and the professionals, so that they get the answers. So, what do you think? Is that a good plan?
Okay with that.
Want to regroup, come back next month?
Do you want to adjourn, or you want to put to a vote?
Can we talk?
Yeah. We just have 1 minute.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because I do want to get our residential application through tonight as well. Trying to.
I don't know. I know Chris would know how many votes you need.
You need 5.
Chris, could we pause them, let them talk, hear them, and then let them come at the end? Let them come back at the end if they want to.
We could. I wish I thought of that before they walked out.
They want to think about it. They get a half hour to think about it, talk, and then if they want, they could either
How many votes do they need,
put it to
Caroline?
vote, or they'll come back and it's up to them.
5 for
Yeah, that's fair.
And then they get 30 minutes to discuss what their plan is, and well, as much as
five
they're
people, 5 affirmative.
Yeah.
they've
No.
been waiting. So
Let's see. Are they within earshot?
Do you want me to go?
Yeah.
get them?
You want to ask them if
hang out for a minute.
Oh, okay.
We'll carry this till the next available date.
Carry till next meeting. Okay, next meeting appears to be August 18th. So this application then is carried with no need for further notice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Calendar 892-25. Hayden, come on up. Thank you for your patience. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, no, that's fine. Thanks. All yours.
We've come before the board to request a variance for a 6-foot versus 3-foot fence.
Excuse me, one second.
Sorry, I hate to interrupt you. I'm going to have to swear you both in
Okay.
separately then. So if you could both raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm that the testimony you're about to give tonight is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And if you could each individually, like one after another, state your first name, spell your last name.
James Hayden, Hayden.
Okay.
Kathy with a C. Morris. Morris.
Thank you. And can you also give your address for the record?
338 Country Club Drive. We've come before the board and proposed a 6-foot fence that exceeds the exact distance behind our garage. Pardon me. Going back to where we would have to be 45 feet in order to meet the requirements, because Primrose on our is kind of a second frontage. Our house faces Country Club Drive. It's an odd-shaped lot. It has, not sure how to explain it.
There's a curvature in the road.
Thank you, yes. That would require us, if we were to maintain within the rules, we would go through our flower planting bed and our magnolia tree, which has been there since the house was erected, in order to have a 6-foot fence. We do have a 3-foot fence around the planting area now, but basically the deer laugh at it. We have found hoof prints and destroyed flowers. We planted a couple of years in a row tulips, and as soon as they come up, the deer are in there eating them. In addition, every morning Kathy does a walk around the property, and there's quite a bit of deer poop, for a better phrase.
In the flowers, it would, the requirements go right through the entire garden, so there wouldn't be a point of having the garden. So what we're proposing is within the building line, and we were told that, well, if you expand the garage, then you can have the 6-foot fence. We don't really want to expand the garage to the building line in order to have that 6-foot fence. So it would be at the building line of the property, which is approximately 35 feet in set. So we're not near the road, we're not near the sidewalk. We're basically putting up a fence that is on Primrose. If you look on our side of the road, it's all the same ornamental fence. It's not anything different from our neighbors, so it would go according to the same look.
It has the same aesthetic.
Are you, and I know we're not in question section here, but are you able to, do you have a visual? Because I think I know what you're saying, but
visual of which?
Are you, either maybe in something that you submitted, part of the packet that you submitted, if you're able to just sort of point out where the new fence would be? Is it in the same footprint where I think the old fence is?
No.
There's a different color. When we submitted the application, there was a different color of where we wanted to put that, of this fence, the aluminum fence.
Okay.
That's the proposed fence?
Yeah, that's the proposed fence. So it's a clear fence, see-through. It's not a solid fence.
Oh, okay.
So it's ornamental, and, you could barely see it if you're walking down the street.
I think there was a picture of what we had proposed as that fence in the packet.
Right.
Last
Yeah, I
page?
think what we're trying to understand is
So if
what
you-
you're asking for versus what's allowed in like the code.
What we're asking for is, if you're looking at the plot plan.
Yep.
The garage is here.
Yep.
We would have to go straight back on that line in order to be in conformity with the 45 feet
Of Primrose. but
from
see,
Primrose.
Primrose turns.
Right.
Okay, what we are proposing is we want to come off the garage. We're not going to go to the building line, but we're going to go straight back to a point where the building line meets here on Primrose. In other words, it would go out a few feet, I think it was 8 feet, and then straight back.
So
And that's the one that you have here is, it's 35 feet from the street line?
Basically, yes.
So the new fence would be 35 feet from the property line?
Correct.
Okay, all right. So I think this line that we're looking at, we didn't get a color copy. I think
Okay.
this line is what you're talking about. Is that correct?
May I come up?
Yeah, come on up.
It looks like 35 feet. If you draw the building line straight,
Is it- Is it,
Yes,
it's that line?
This line coming off
Okay.
and then going straight back.
Okay.
The building line is the dotted line here.
Yep.
Come straight.
Okay, sorry, it's just a tiny, yeah, we're good.
35?
It's this line.
Didn't come, didn't come through in color when you come out to here and then go back.
We'll ask that question.
I don't think they're planning on going out.
So it's just this line.
Right, so per code, this
To clarify, your
Kevin, do you see
the fence
the line you're
quote,
talking about?
It's right here.
I guess it's not drawn to the accurate shape.
Yeah.
It's close to it.
It's, yeah, it,
Because it doesn't have the angles.
Okay.
All
right. Sorry, I didn't mean to put us in chaos. Let's let you finish what you're going to say, then we'll go to questions.
So what we want to do is we would stay within the building line, and in fact only meet the building line on the far back corner where is lot number A9. But it would come off of the garage at an angle towards Primrose and then go straight back to meet the building line back by our neighbor.
I see.
I'm not coming all the way out to begin with.
Right.
And the reason for that is the little drawing that's there, there's a dot towards the back. There's a magnolia tree back there that has been there since, I probably should clarify, my parents are the original owners of the house, and I now own it. So that magnolia tree has been there for 69 years.
Okay.
Don't want to disturb it, but in order to be the 45 feet that I have to be, if I'm going to be in line with what the zoning rules require, I would decimate it.
I see.
And the reason why we want to go 6 feet, quite frankly, is to try to deter the deer.
yeah, because they hop over our temporary 3-foot fence now. It's like it's not even there.
Understood.
Deer netting.
We don't believe that it has any significant impact on the aesthetics in the neighborhood. We don't believe that it would have a negative impact on the zoning ordinance or zoning plans. We don't think there'd be any adverse issues here.
Okay. Can we ask some questions?
Please do.
All right. Dave, anything? Good? All right. Danielle, anything?
I was just going to add some clarification. They're on a corner lot, so that's why they're more
It's-
restricted.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's where that variance is triggered, because they're on a corner lot, so they have to either be 3 feet or have it within the front yard setback.
Yeah. And just from a board, I'm going to jump in with one because I think it's a clarifying question that I think everyone might want to hear. Maybe I'm understanding correctly. if I'm reading this right, the fence is proposed, it would be no closer than, in fact, it would veer further, but no closer than 35 feet to Primrose.
Correct.
And then it would eventually sort of get even further than that a little bit as it gets towards the house itself.
Yes, sir.
So that little bump out from the house, how wide is that?
I forget if it's 8 feet or 16 feet. I just don't remember.
That little tiny bump out?
It's not the scale of the drawing.
It's not the scale. Okay.
Yeah, the bump is not to scale.
I think it's
Okay.
8 feet. I don't
You think it's 8 feet?
Yeah, I think it's 8
It
feet.
says
it's
on
in
the
the
drawing,
drawing.
on the fence outlet open, but the estimate, it looks like 16 feet.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I think it is
You're right.
16 feet to start, because that's more than 45 feet
okay.
to there.
Okay.
But it stays within the building line, which is 35 feet.
Okay. Okay. All right. That was it. Other board members, feel free.
Yeah, just a quick question. You mentioned that your neighbors have a similar fence.
Yes.
So that's lot A49. So
Yes.
where you're centering the fence is to match the exact line where their post is
No.
on their fence? No? So the fences will be staggered?
Our fence, we have an existing fence in the back that's wood,
Mhm.
that's 6 foot,
Yep.
that comes up to where the,
End of his, where his.
it actually extends a little beyond where his is. And we would be then.
But if
once-
you were looking at it, they're not going to be like 5 feet off each other? How is there any difference in the spacing between them? Or you're just saying it's like one's in front, but it's like there's a distance because you don't want a fence here and then a fence here on a straight line.
It's not going to be a straight line, no.
Okay. Do you know how distance-wise the difference between the two fences?
I think it's 8 feet, it may be 12.
And did they have a 6-foot fence or is it only a 3-foot fence?
They have a 6 foot.
So you would be matching up to a 6-foot fence?
Yes.
Everyone has a 6 foot on Primrose. So it's all in line. It's all the same fence as well.
Yeah, they're all the same decorative, yeah.
Same
Yes.
thing.
Except folks in the backyard have got the solid white.
And you're tying into your,
That's
where
what
your wood fence ends, that's where you're tying in the fence along Primrose too?
Right, and we're
Yes.
actually
You're not going to
gonna-
extend beyond where the wood fence ends today.
Where the wood fence is the wood fence is going to be replaced. It needs to be replaced.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
You know, and it might just be me. I think I understand where you want to construct the fence, and living in Oradell, I absolutely understand the concern and the problem with the deers, and I like the ornamental. I think it's visually more appealing. But I think I understand where the fence, right, where you're planning to put the fence. But what would the ordinance allow? Maybe David, or you can help, like what's allowed versus what they're asking for? I see what they're asking for.
As far as the height?
Well, what is the
No,
variance relief they're looking for?
Well, they're constructing a fence in the front yard because it's a corner lot. They have 2 front yards,
Right.
Even though technically it's like their side yard, but they would be building a 6-foot fence within the front yard, where I believe the code allows only a 3-foot tall fence.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the relief that they're looking for.
And if they moved it behind the garage, they could be the 6 feet. But that 16-foot bump out is what triggers it.
Got it.
But the back fence, there's no question about, there's already 6 foot, it's already allowable.
Correct.
Because they're increasing the height of the fence on the second front. That's where the variance is required.
But because of and I'm just looking at the property, because of the steep, the acute corner there, they would have to go, if I read the ordinance correctly, they would have to go straight back from the corner of the property into, from the corner of the garage back towards the back fence, which would interrupt the tree. Yeah, and then it would also, it would chop up the backyard because of the angle of the house and the angle of the corner.
Now, at the start of the testimony, it did say, I think Steve mentioned to him, you could extend your garage. Like if you bumped your garage closer to Primrose, technically they would be able to do that, and then they could extend the fence without having to come to the board for that.
Yeah.
But they're not proposing to do that, and I'm not offering that up for them. At a much greater expense. I'm just saying, just putting things in perspective for what they're asking
Thank
for.
you.
They could put a garage there and have a more solid mass
Got it.
in the visibility as opposed to extending the fence.
Thank you, that's correct.
This is really steep. It's like, yeah. Okay, any other board questions? All right. I see no members of the public, but we'll open it just in case. All right?
I have a comment, not a question.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, if you're done with testimony, we can open it to public comment.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay.
You're up. It's a cool thing about volunteers. They're members of the public, too.
Liars.
And if you could just
Linda
raise-
Bessing, Country Club Drive. I live on the far side of Country Club, and I
just have
pass
to
your
swear
house
you
every
in,
day.
I'm sorry.
You got to be sworn in.
But you're
Sorry.
making a comment.
Absolutely.
If you could just, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And can you please state your name and spell your last name for me?
Linda Bessing, Biz and Boy, ESINK, 177 Country Club.
Thank you.
We've been in our house since January of '81. And I remember when Mr. Hayden's parents were there, particularly his mom. And I didn't even realize that you, but I pass their house every day. 9 times out of 10, we use that end of Country Club to go wherever we're going. And I can see that the plantings are very important to them. And I'm a deer animal lover. I like the deer, but if you don't want them where you don't want them to be, I think this fence will do 2 things. It will keep them out and keep their plantings safe, and it'll look good. I saw the picture of the proposed fence in their application, and I thought, sometimes when I see fence, I think, oh no, what are we looking at? But it's going to look really nice. To the extent that you can say a fence is pretty, I think it's a very pretty fence. So, if that has any bearing, I hope I'm helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just happen to be here.
All right. Excellent. Board deliberations, or am I off? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. Board comments. Let's start down that end. Vincent.
I have no concerns as it's within the building line, and it's a better option than if they were to extend the garage, which would make them conforming.
Nice.
Yeah, it seems like a very reasonable solution.
I agree.
Cool.
Based on the configuration of the property, the shape of the lot, looks like a good solution.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think the most important factor here is that there is enough room that had you moved out the garage, because, corner properties and all, it is kind of something that doesn't get approved normally because of it does create that, when on a front yard fence, that built-in look, but because of the fence, but more importantly because of the size of the property, I think it's reasonable at this point.
Thank you. I echo my board members here. Appreciate your presentation.
Thank you.
Same here. Yep, agree with everyone. I think this makes the most sense. That being said, do we have a motion? Either in the affirmative for calendar 892-25?
I'll make a motion that it's accepted because of the size of the property and the type of fence that is being proposed, that we should accept this.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Let's call the roll. All right. Mr. Bartlett.
Yes.
Mr. Camporeale.
Yes.
Ms. Day.
Yes.
Mr. Lau.
Yes.
Ms. Odinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Devine.
Yes.
All right, and yes from me. Congratulations, and thank you for waiting. Thanks for your patience.
Yes.
Same 45-day warning applies. 45 days from the date of the resolution, which will generally be the next meeting. People have to appeal, raise concerns. After that, you're free to build.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll make it quick. Thank you, board. We did good work tonight. I know we had a backlog to catch up on. Thanks for getting us caught up. I know we'll have 505 come back, but that's okay. Old business. Any old business? No? Any new business? All right. Open to the public. Any comments? No? We're good? Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
We have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Have a wonderful evening. And we still finish before 10:30.
Thanks.
All right.
Between rhombus, but also it means that it forces further displacement towards the south. And we are seeing from satellite images that new tents are getting closer and closer to the GHF. But the GHF stations are inside the military zone, and this is where the shooting are happening right now.
Alex DeWall, I'd like to bring you into this conversation. You're executive director of the World